Today we are going to talk about different kinds of samples. And in order to understand different kinds of sample, we first need to define what is the population and the sample in terms of statistics. So population, normally we think about people who live in certain areas, but when it comes to statistics, population is actually the entire collection of people or objects we are studying. So for example, if we wanted to find out what is the percentage of all dogs that are rescued that are puppies, then all dogs that are rescued in Iowa, let's say we are talking about Iowa, would be our population. If we wanted to find out what is the favorite type of music of 7th graders in Ankeny, all 7th graders in Ankeny would be our population. However, most of the time when we are doing the survey, it's hard to survey the whole population because it's too large, it takes long time, or it's expensive. So we usually actually pick a group out of the whole population and we survey, and that group is actually called a sample. So, for example, in case of finding the favorite type of music of 7th graders in Ankeny, the group that we choose to survey would be our sample. Look at this example. So we have Mrs. Johnston who wants to find out whether the students at the Ankeny School District spend more time watching TV or using a computer. She surveys 200 out of the total number of students. We need to find what's the sample and what's the population. So all students in the district would be a population. And then 200 students that are surveyed would be sample. Now, when we are choosing a sample, the first thing we need to do is to create a sampling plan. And a sampling plan is actually just a detailed strategy for selecting a sample from a population. So you would have to first decide what is the question you want to ask or answer. How will you do that? Who will do it? And among other things, you will have to decide what is your sampling method. What is important about your sample? It's important that it's a representative of the population. So when you have a representative sample, that means that the characteristics of your sample accurately portray or reflect the characteristics of larger population. So that's very important. So here we are. When we are selecting a sample can be convenience sample. What does it mean to have a convenience sample? It means you are choosing a sample that is easy accessible to you. So for example, if you ask all the students on your bus how long it takes them to get to school, and then you claim that these data are representative of the entire school population, you are actually surveying a convenience sample. It's just a sample that is available to you. If I want to find out what is the favorite type of music of 7th graders in Ankeny, and that's my population, and I actually ask only students that are coming to my class, that would mean I am using a convenience sample. So then we have another type of sample, which is systematic sample. And how do you do a systematic sample? You actually that's a sample that you choose in a methodical way. For example, if you survey every 10th person on an alphabetical list of names, you are surveying a systematic sample. So if you choose, let's say I use all names of all students from Parkview Middle School, and then I pick every 5th one or every 20th one, doesn't matter, and then I'm going to survey them. Then another type of sample is voluntary response sample. That sample selects itself. And what is that? For example, if you put an ad in a school paper asking for volunteers to take a survey, then the students who respond will actually be voluntary response sample. And then random sample which is actually the best kind of sample, it's usually the best representative of the population, is a sample that is chosen in a way that gives every member of a population an equally likely chance of being selected. So, if I want to find out the favorite type of music of 7th graders in Ankeny, if I actually get into a list of every single 7th grader in Ankeny School District, and then I randomly choose however many I want for my sample, that would be random sampling. Let's look at this example. Which sampling plan will better represent the population of Ms. Johnston's data? So here we are. First example, Ms. Johnston randomly picks 200 students from all school grades for the survey, or Mrs. Johnston surveys 200 students from Parkview only. So when we look at these two, if she wants to make a conclusion about the whole district, and that was the case when we looked at the beginning, then she should randomly pick 200 students from all school grades for the survey, not just students from Parkview school only. So that's the end of the notes.